Hello there. We're here to tell you that we have so much more to offer you now at our Mixed Tees store. Not just t-shirts and hoodies, but we do have plenty of those, and new designs for that matter. You can also get mugs, and of course our brand new limited Amber Turds stained blanket. That's right, just for your bed or wherever you need it. So head on over to Mixed Tees now and get all your apparel and goodies from Midnight's Edge.
Entertainment news today. You're such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We'll stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. But MEAD never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Welcome to the program. It's time for Midnight's Edge After Dark, your favorite show on YouTube, whether you like it or not. I am Tom Connors. We have with us Brian, a.k.a. That 70s Rock Fan. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, my friend. How are you?
Doing the best we can.
Good.
And we also have Nick Weiser here, all 32 flavors of them. Black Weiser, I should say.
Black Lives Wiser is all I got to say.
It's looking
Black
like
Lives
looking into
Matter.
a coal cellar at midnight.
Maybe I'm the void. Oh. Anyways, yeah, happy to be here. What's up, chat? Hello, dudes on the panel. Mo Zambone and 70s, Tom Connors, and Price of Reason. Hello,
Yeah,
dudes.
what's up? Hey.
Groovy.
Hi.
And we also have Mo Zamboni.
Hello. Hope everybody's doing well in the chat tonight. Just a bunch of olds here hanging out. Going to talk about some pop culture. I'm looking forward to it.
Olds. I like it. We're olds.
Olds and bolds. Olds and
I'm
balls.
olds and folds. See, because I'm
Folds.
big. We also have Price of Reason, who's orange.
Hey, what's up?
He's another orange man bad.
Yeah, I'm the original Orange Man Bad.
Yeah, it's true. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good to have you.
to
So
be
good
here.
evening, everybody out there in YouTube land. We got a little bit to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about it in just a moment. We got FKHC 2005, who's using his member chat to send Clobby some love. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. And that's all we have for the pre-show so far. But hello, D-Bud. I see you out there. Shadow Chaser. Tim Hayes is here. RJ Godzilla. 70s Rock Fan sends in his 48 months.
4 years.
membership. No, not 4 years. 48 months. That's,
I don't know.
You two have been
it's
together
still,
that
still
long?
quite a bit. It's almost like 3, but
4 or 8 months is 4 years, isn't it?
no.
12 months in a year.
4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you age?
I feel like I heard Tom in
Yeah,
1 year
48
now.
months or 4 years.
Are you
Maybe
in
I'm in an alternative universe. I don't know.
Are you
I
in stereo, Tom, or
am
did something
I?
happen?
I might be. I don't know.
I don't know. For a second,
Oh.
like in 1 year, you kind of vanished, but I don't know if it's me
Um,
or it really happened.
It's because time passes differently for Tom.
Shouldn't be. I mean, I'm in stereo, but it should be coming out of both of your ears.
Maybe I was imagining it.
Stereo,
Could be me.
stereo.
Did that come out of both ears?
Yeah, that
Ooh.
sounded good.
And showing it in stereo? All right.
70s. Everybody else sounded good. Something happened,
Weird.
but it could be just I was imagining it.
To me, I don't know. Maybe.
Yes, that's right.
Who knows?
High energy levels. That's what I like.
I know, right?
Yeah,
well,
we're pumped. We're pumped here.
it's because there's not much to talk about. I mean, some of us seen the Thunderbolts. Most of us don't give two shits. So I know Nick saw it. Who else saw it?
I saw it.
All right. So Nick and Price, why don't you give us your reaction to the Thunderbolts? Let's start with you, Nick.
Oh boy, what a weird movie. There are some really I'm not gonna be spoiler alert, say it's the worst movie ever. It's not, but it's definitely not a great movie either. I feel like the idea of what they're going for story-wise, I actually would go as far as to say I feel like there's actually a decent idea there, a better than expected idea. But then there's therapy that happens, and it is so bad. The therapy really just takes away from a lot of what could be a good time here. It's not a Suicide Squad ripoff. It's not, or Guardians of the Galaxy. So you could say maybe they definitely did some mismarketing for that, and because the movie is very serious. The humor is not big old slapstick, Taika Waititi. Everything is funny every 5 seconds. However, the few moments where they have it, it's awful. The humor is awful. Red Guardian is the worst. Oh my fucking god, that dude is not funny, and his character is awful.
Well, that sucks because he's one of the parts I was kind of looking forward to. Yeah.
I like David Harbour in other things, Stranger Things, A Working Man. And maybe others might like him. I might be in the minorities, but I thought he was the worst character in the movie. Oh man, he was unbearable to hear. And I feel weird saying that because like the amount of roles I've enjoyed him in. It feels kind of weird to say that. I still see some people who don't even like the movie still giving kind words for Florence Pugh. I thought she was okay. She's fine. I think she's definitely been overhyped from all sides. That's for sure. She was fine though. Sentry suit looked cool. It looked cool, but well, we barely got the Sentry and how the fight happens. And I'm saying it's because I know no one and their mother gives a shit about spoilers. The fight is just the most anticlimactic ending. And you know what? I actually wasn't opposed to the idea of a bunch of losers who had to face the Sentry. I mean, you could do a fun dynamic with that because you have to think, okay, we can't beat this type of character with strength, so we had to play to our smarts with this one. And the Suicide Squad had that when you had characters who had to face Starro, and Starro clearly outmatches those characters. You could have done a similar but different concept of that, but instead they gave you the feelings version of how to beat the Sentry, and that was really dumb. I thought some of the other characters were okay. Ghost was better. I wouldn't say she was great. She's definitely better utilized here. I actually kind of dug U.S. Agent. I did, and I will say the action was not bad. The action actually is not bad. The action actually looked a lot better. It looks like they really dialed back on the CG. And the actions look so much better for it. So I'll definitely say that's a big improvement from the last several movies. The action looks a lot better. So I was actually happy to say that you'll get some fight scenes, and I don't know if it's practical or not. I'd have to do a rewatch, assuming if I ever do watch it again. But I was like, wow, okay. I don't feel like I'm watching a video game. So that's cool. I was absolutely rolling with that. Now, the asterisk that I always knew there was a meaning for the asterisk, and I had a feeling I texted Comics Division earlier this afternoon. I'm like, I'll bet you this is gonna be the name of the team by the movie's end, and I was spot on with that name. That name being, because once again, and this is your 10-second heads up: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and spoiler. They're the Avengers, guys. They're the Avengers, and
That's all the new Avengers or whatever. It's all over.
yeah,
there,
the new
right?
Avengers. And boy, what a dumb move to do. Here's the thing. Let's just, and my theater, actually, there's a pretty decent crowd. I've let people know I vaguely where I'm at. I'm in a town that has around population around 30,000 people, and we have a good amount of theaters by us. And it was once again around 2:15 showtime. I said it was about 40% filled, and it seemed like the audience did like it. It did seem like that. So I will say that even though I didn't really enjoy it, it did seem like there was a good sized audience, and it seemed like people did like it. So I think it's safe to say in that theater, I was definitely the minority on that one. Trying to think what other bases I cover. It does, stand on its own 2 feet, but however, if you're someone who's thinking, will it have any plot threads connecting to the other material? They mention things, but it's nothing where it's like, oh man, you got to do this in order to understand that. It actually isn't like Doctor Strange and the Mom like that, where it's a sequel to something else. It really tells its own story, these characters. Now, I don't know if people benefit from not knowing these characters if you're going into this not watching the D plus shows. So that's what we're curious to see. But I actually thought the movie's pretty accessible and also pretty well self-contained. Like, yeah, there's acknowledgments of the MCU, but the movie does really stick to its story. It's not a cameo-driven fest. It's really just having these characters. Now, the only problem is, let's just say this movie does well or people like it. How are they going to do a sequel to this? If the Thunderbolts was the asterisk, are they going to have a Thunderbolts movie called The Real Thunderbolts or The Actual Thunderbolts? Because once again, the audience seemed to like it, and it was a good chunk. So I'm thinking, oh, we might actually have a movie that might make some money. Granted, I'm in one town in Illinois, in one county, in one state, in one country, but definitely seemed like a big foreshadowing of what was to come. And there was people showing up at the theater after I got out too. I'm sure some of them were for sinners. I'm sure they were, but definitely I could tell some people, I saw them getting those Thunderbolts cups as well. So overall, it was okay. I'd say it was, for me, probably like a 6 out of 10. Some good stuff that I like, but it definitely gets way down by some really awful stuff.
Sounds
Nick
bad.
did not care for it. So, Price, what did you say? Was it the greatest movie of the year so far?
Well, first of all, he didn't say he didn't care for it necessarily. He just, he said that it was flawed. But I feel like I'm in a strange agreement with Nick about a lot of stuff. I think that back in the day when the MCU was in its prime, you had these kind of big movies or the ones that are the fan favorites. And once in a while, they churn one out that you just think is kind of okay, maybe mid-table or lower mid-table. And you just kind of let it slide. And there's enough, fan goodwill. So you're just like, okay, like Ant-Man 2 is not a very good movie, but whatever. I think that this was that kind of movie that it was... It's not going to ever be, in my opinion, anybody's favorite MCU movie, but at least it was sort of like a mid-lower tier of what level of what used to be the MCU. And I don't know if that's considered exactly a return to form, because the movie does have issues. I think that the first act, it takes a bit of time to really get things moving there and really bring the viewer into it. I think that the second act starts developing, picking it up a bit more, and the third act actually ties it up in a way that I thought was surprisingly decent. And yeah, I generally was not a big fan of Florence Pugh as Yelena and all that stuff, and I still think that if I have to compare her to Scarlett Johansson, there's a lot of things that I prefer Scarlett. A lot of departments where I would prefer Scarlett. But at the same time, I think that this is the most pleasant Florence Pugh has been in this role to date. I saw her in that Black Widow movie, couldn't stand her. I saw her in that Hawkeye show, and I couldn't stand her. And I think that in this movie, she actually delivered a pretty decent performance. So I was a bit pleasantly surprised. David Harbour, I think, is a really good actor, but trying to make him this weird Russian thing, I don't know if there's another actor that would have been doing it great. Maybe like Robin Williams could have done it. But I don't know that David Harbour can really pull that off. And
Is that weird foreign guy or whatever, the one that played the devil in Constantine, do you think he's too old to play the role? He always does a good Russian accent.
maybe. There are some actors that can do it. I feel like they needed to go with somebody who can actually do it. I don't know if the guy from Constantine is the same guy that played a Russian mobster in Limitless. If that's the same.
Maybe, but he was also in like Armageddon and some of the other things. Like
I don't know. The guy that
You might
played the
know.
Russian
I'm
mobster.
trying to think of his name.
Russian mobster guy from the movie Limitless, I think could have done a better Red Guardian, that maybe instead of like so over the top theatrical dramatic kind of something like that, you had some guy that can do it more nuanced. I think that the jokes would have landed a little better and the attitude would have been worked better. But at the same time, I didn't walk out hating the movie. It's not like top tier MCU, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I'm with Price there. I didn't hate the movie. It was just there for me. It was right in the middle. It really could have been so much worse, and is better than a lot of movies. Like, I think it was better than Black Widow. It was better than Eternals. But once again, that's not the high watermark I strive for. I would say for me, probably like a step under, let's just say Iron Man 3. I know Iron Man 3 does have its fans. I wasn't really wild about the movie. It was just there for me. And luckily, my experience wasn't the worst experience. Now, you want the biggest insult from me, Price, and I don't know about you. My biggest insult from the movie wasn't actually the movie itself. Dude, I had 25 minutes of ads and previews. What the fuck, man?
That happens every time in the theater that I go to. I mean, I usually go to AMC theaters, and you have hours of trailers, and then by the time they're done, you have all that like pre-movie stuff with Nicole Kidman talking, which always annoys me. I'm sorry. I know they feel obligated to put Nicole Kidman talking, and before Nicole Kidman, there's a part that really annoys me. Did you see it at an AMC, Nick?
I did see it at AMC, and I was thinking, with the amount of trailers they're showing, maybe they'll actually skip the Nicole Kidman ad. And just when I thought I was out of the woodworks, nope. Dude, and they had way too many previews.
No, first of all, they had like Lilo and Stitch or whatever telling you not to use your phone. Then they have the commercial that I absolutely, I don't know why this commercial annoys me so much. There's like an African-American gentleman and how do you call some lady from India? How do I explain it? What's the correct?
An Indian lady.
Indian lady.
No, there was a politically. Is it
East
like
Asian something?
East Asian, yeah, I knew there was
West Asian.
something.
I don't know. There's an
I was trying to find the politically correct terms. Anyhow, it's like
subcontinental something.
Not white.
It was a black dude and an Indian lady. In any case, they're there and they're about to kiss, and then they share like a Coca-Cola, and then they're in bits of movies where they're driving and doing like dance offs. That along with the music that's played there annoys me so much. That annoys me more than any trailer, more than Nicole Kidman, more than like.
This has got to be an AMC thing because I usually go to Marcus and I don't have this problem.
AMC.
Oh, it's pretty bad at Cineplex too.
Yeah. I mean, Marcus has its own, but like, not this.
No, one. AMC. Nick, do you know what I'm talking about? The guy and the girl, and then you have like these.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's music that tortures me just to hear that annoying music. If they would have chosen a music that doesn't annoy me as much as that, and then they do kind of like dancing, like as if they're like you got served. I can't stand it. It's the worst opening for any movie, and each time I have to see it, and by the time that's done and you're already suffering, Nicole Kidman comes out, and man, I don't know why. I mean, I got nothing against Nicole Kidman, but I could totally skip that part that she lectures before the movie, but that's just me.
So
the part that
Oh, sorry.
I just said the part that bothers me with the Nicole Kidman thing is you can totally tell that they digitally altered her face so she doesn't
Oh
look
God,
so
yeah.
Oh,
It's so
totally.
obvious.
Oh,
Totally.
did they really?
Yeah,
I know
you can
exactly what you're
totally
talking
tell.
about, but I never noticed.
And
Yeah,
even
now next time you'll see it. Yeah.
even
So-
with all the digital altering, she still looks kind of spooky. Like her eyes are kind
It
of
does look spooky.
popping
She looks
out.
like came from the World Economic Forum.
And you were about to say something though, Nick.
And there's
Yeah, we have a few questions that are directly targeted at me, and I feel like I owe it to the chat to answer. Were any of the previews any good? I'll put it this way, Willie. They're for previews for everything we have already seen. We had a preview for Superman. We had a preview for Fantastic
That's my
Four.
issue with
We
trailers
had a
now.
preview for Mission Impossible. We had a preview for Megan. Everything that's coming out this summer, they had a preview for. And then you add the AMC ads that come with anything at an AMC showing. It is gone crazy. I remember when I saw Black Widow 4 years ago in theaters, and I was already not happy about 15 minutes of previews, ads, whatever. Now it's 25 minutes. I'm like, bro, can we start? Or if this is what we're gonna do, can at least give like a time of when the previews start versus when the actual movie starts? I can forgive it then. And where's these? Second one here. It's from Many Dragon, I think. I'm going through the comments here. Is it worth the price to go see in theaters? I would say either two ways. Either wait for streaming or see it on a cheap Tuesday night. If you have a theater that does the discount deals on Tuesday nights, so I would say that'd be your worst way, because once again, it's not the worst movie ever. Far from it. It's not really like woke. It's really not. So
how many people were in the theater? Both Nick
my
and
theater
Bryce?
was very well attended. It was almost
Okay.
half full, and that was a 2 p.m. Keep that in mind.
Fair
I'm in
enough.
2 p.m. in Illinois suburbs. I
Fair
thought it was
enough.
gonna be dead as shit. The
I
Marvels
had a similar
was.
experience. It was a 2 p.m. one. Usually that theater doesn't have many people at that hour. And there have been many movies that I'd see like a premiere, like early screening of like that I've sat by myself within the same theater.
Yep.
It was at least half full. At least. Maybe no, I want to say half full. I feel like it was half full. And like Nick said, the people that sat there seemed to be enjoying it. They sat after the credits because there's one credit scene, another credit scene. Like, people didn't seem to be suffering from it. And when it comes to if it's worth it or not, I don't really have to make that decision because AMC has this monthly deal that you pay like a one-time fee and then you can just keep seeing movies. And that's very convenient for me. So it really doesn't matter to me. It's just another movie that I watch.
Price, it's really odd how similar our theatrical experiences were. We both went at probably the first showing for our individual showings. We had decent sized crowd, and you and I were probably the minorities in these crowds not enjoying. Like I said, when the humor is hitting, people were reacting and laughing to it. I wasn't. I straight up wasn't. Especially the Ray Garden. People really seem to eat up on Ray Garden. That's why I still don't rule out him being a character that might take off in this movie, because I'm clearly in the minority at that screening when it came to that character. For me, he was just outright annoying. To me, he was the worst. In my opinion, he was the worst character of the movie. I thought he was the worst. I actually and no, none of the women are Mary Sue's. None of them not.
I
They
actually
do get their asses kicked a lot.
I actually thought that in the few scenes that they needed him for a little more dramatic weight, I thought that he delivered that better. Some of the
He was
humor
better with
stuff,
that.
like
Go on.
there was one part that she talks about, like, something that's a little more serious for a minute, and I actually thought in that scene you could see his depth as an actor. Doing some kind of weird Russian imitation comedy thing is very, very specific. Like, I'm sure if you gave it to somebody like Will Ferrell in his prime, it probably would have been funny. If you acted like the guy from Zoolander or something. But I'm just saying that this guy is more of a dramatic actor, and I just don't think that it's like his wheelhouse. At the same time, like you said, I think some people were enjoying it. Like, some people seemed happy with his shtick. For me, I just felt like there were parts that it felt forced, and I could have done with at minimum less of it. But whatever. I mean, like I said, it's doesn't change what I said. I think it's a mid to low tier MCU movie.
Is it, Price? Tell me how you feel. Did it feel like there actually was potential for something really good in this, because I felt like if they delved back on a lot of the therapy stuff and actually had a actual fight with the Sentry, I feel like they actually had potential there to have a movie that could have stuck the landing. I feel like this wasn't like, let's just say, Eternals, where it was just doomed from the start. This movie I felt like they were trying to make something good with this. I felt like they were trying, but they just didn't hit it, especially with the therapy stuff. And I do agree with you, by the way, on the David Harbour with the serious stuff. He was better, but man, we just got so much of it. It was just like by the time we got to his serious stuff, I was checked out from this serious stuff. It was just so much of it. It was like trying to eat after you're full on Thanksgiving.
Surprisingly, even though I understand the therapy that everybody's talking about, that people are like talking about their thing, I didn't completely hate it. I think there was an idea here that could have been interesting. I like that actor, that Bill Pullman's son, who looks like Bill Pullman. I like that actor.
I did too.
He brings that kind of Lone Star vibe to the mix, even if it's unintentional. And I even kind of like the idea of what was going on there with Sentry. There were some things that
outstanding idea there at the Sentry. Great idea there.
Yeah. I thought to myself, I kind of like this. This is kind of cool. Maybe the execution isn't as good as it should have been, but man, I've been watching these crappy Marvel movies for a while now, the ones that were like barely watchable, and it wasn't even a situation that I looked and said, okay, these are some interesting ideas, maybe the execution could be better. There were movies that I'm just like, this is awful crap, I hate this, and I didn't say that sitting through this movie. I thought that,
same.
Maybe if they would have fine-tuned it and maybe, had better guidance, whether it's from Feige or from I don't know what, they could have created a better movie here. Instead, it's just kind of like an somewhat okay MCU movie that doesn't stand out amongst the franchise best, but it's not an unwatchable disaster.
So it's just a good popcorn movie if you're just like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I've seen worse movies than this. It's not like, it's not the kind of movie that I go in and I just get annoyed the whole time and walk out annoyed. That wasn't the case. I agree with you. It's like a forgettable popcorn movie that's just kind of, flawed, had some things I liked, had some things I didn't like, and I just walked out and said, okay, well, that was that.
Yeah. The Tuesday, once again, the Tuesday half off night, cheap popcorn night. That's a good way of going about it. Or if you really hate going to theaters and don't want to go through previews, streaming is your way. You can form your opinion. And some of you might like it. That's the thing. It wasn't lost. I mean, keep in mind, I know I saw some people in chat saying, well, my theater or something. We got to remember, guys, we're all in, some of us are in big cities, some of us are in small cities. That's why I say, with my showing, take with a pinch of salt, because what goes on in one town might not always by default be reflective of our towns. But I was still pleasantly surprised to see a crowd for this movie.
I am kind of surprised to see how many seats are sold for the 7:00 showing in Madison here.
Wow.
I mean, it's not full or anything, but it's like most of the good seats are taken. I'm kind of surprised.
It's a better movie than Captain America's Strange New World. Well, I don't know what it is.
That's a good title for it. That's a good title.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's good price.
That's a good one.
So yeah, that's not very hard to do. So.
Whatever that thing was, that would see that when I got out and I was really, really annoyed. I thought to myself that I liked Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie, and I think that they're good actors. But man, that movie was like annoying. I walked out really without really difficult coming up with good things to say about that one. But I didn't feel that kind of feeling from this one. And again, I'm fortunate that I have the monthly thing, which is very convenient for me. So I don't have to make those tough decisions of, is it worth like me buying a ticket here? Some people, if they're not sure, I heard that they're showing this in, what would be the politically correct thing to say? They're screening it in East Asia at the moment.
South Asia, East Asia, West Asia, which Asia?
That was a joke that worked on multiple levels. I don't know if it went over people's heads.
Like Camelbot Killer reminds us here, as Andre said yesterday morning, it's the best worst Marvel movie.
I think that's a fair assessment. I mean,
So-
I'm thinking to myself,
Which I thought Black Widow was, so this might just usurp that. I
no,
guess.
this is better than Black Widow.
Way
It's better
better.
than Black Widow. It's
I think
better
he
than
said the same thing basically. Yeah.
the Captain Falcon. It's better than that one. I'm trying to think of all the some of them I've just blocked from my memory. Better than the Eternals for sure.
Better than Soy Chi.
I think that Shang-Chi, relatively speaking, in comparison to some of those other crappy ones, it wasn't very good, but it could have been worse. And I'm not a fan of Simu Liu. Like I think he's annoying, but there were at least moments of it that like had some potential in Shang-Chi, even if it doesn't really fulfill the potential. I don't know. This is better than a lot of those crappy movies, and even I said I think I liked it better than Ant-Man 2, which is a movie I didn't like. I didn't like Ant-Man 2.
This is the new passing standard for Marvel. It could have been worse.
Right. I mean, is it better than Iron Man 3? I know people hated Iron Man 3. I kind of didn't necessarily hate it. It's not a movie that I sit around and watch all day. Like for me, Iron
It's
Man 1.
because it shouldn't have been called Iron Man 3. It should have been called Tony Stark 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
It takes. No, I thought the same thing because the thing is, Iron Man 3 has some really great parts in it. There really is.
I don't even hate the
then
Mandarin and
there's
shit. I know
parts
everybody else does.
Where it feels like it's gonna be really awesome, and it gets botched by, let's just say, something shallow. Like when you saw the, Iron Man save all those people in the sky, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you find out, oh, he wasn't even in the armor. And to me, that kind of took away from the moment when he wasn't even in the armor. I was like, ah, that kind of dragged it down for me. And then, of course, there's the Mandarin twist, which we're not going to travel down that road. If Bobby were here, we would go another 30 minutes on that one. And that is, and then Soy Chi wrecked that shit even worse. Oh, my. They just don't want to get the Mandarin right. It's clear they don't want to get that character right. They just outright refuse to because China.
It's not politically correct.
China.
Yeah, not to get too deep into it, I know you're probably going to say, but the Ben Kingsley that we saw in the trailer to kind of throw everybody off, I wanted to see that. And when he was like, "Oi, I'm just an actor," toodly doodly doo. Sorry, Sally.
No, that pissed me off because he played the part really well in the trailer. It sold you like a motherfucker.
Right.
That was bait.
It was better. This movie was better than Captain Marvel. It was better than the Marvels.
It was way better.
See, so like I said, it's not going to be something that you're going to think Iron Man 1, Avengers 1, and this. This is not going to be considered, I think, anybody's top 10 or top 15.
Which is okay if they don't overspend on it.
Yeah, Camelot. Go ahead.
You know, there's space for movies like that if they don't overspend on them.
Apparently, this movie was cheaper to make 70s. I have not looked into it. I'm just going off of what I've heard. But assuming that, let's just say that that's true for conversation's sake, this movie might have a shot. It might have a shot at breaking even. It might have a shot.
Yeah.
Unlike
maybe
Captain America Great Reset. Captain America Great Reset was the hugest of flops. This one might have a chance of going even now that I've seen that crowd once again at Thunderbolts, it does kind of like raise what I think the opening weekend numbers are going to be. My prediction is I think it's going to be somewhere between, I originally thought probably 50, 60. I'm actually going to now go a little higher and say 70, 80. Watch, I'll be wrong. And then my first predictions were the correct ones, but I actually going to climb higher and think it's going to do 78 just because the enthusiasm was there for it. It was going into the theater and coming out of it. The enthusiasm was there. And I think those people will probably tell others.
I'll put it this way. If since Avengers Endgame, all the Marvel movies had been on this level, it would still be a situation where the franchise was in decline, but it wouldn't be like as much of a disastrous decline. It would just be like the franchise has settled into this kind of mid level quality. And I guess now when you think of all the crappy movies we've seen, it kind of stands out that it's not quite as crappy. I guess like what Tom and Andre and whatever people were saying, I don't know if to say it's the best of the worst Marvel movies because like I said, I like this better than some other even Captain Marvel or Ant-Man 2 and things like that. But it's not spectacular either.
Yeah, it's a fine, harmless movie. I'm outside the therapy. That part's actually harmful. So sorry, contradicting myself a little bit. But the action and like the individual character arcs, like their motivations, that stuff is harmless. But when they start going to their fifis, that's where I actually dug the stuff with the government and the corruption and the Century Project. I thought that was all
Yeah.
really killer. I'm like, oh, we're going to some really awesome political corruption. I'm all down for this, and didn't feel like it was like let's just say one-sided political angle. It just felt like, hey, there's government corruption, they're doing shady things, and they're hiding it from the public. Okay, let's freaking go. And I felt like the movie had once again some really bright spots to it that I was like, oh, okay. I once again I see the potential of how great this movie truly could have been. I can't believe I'm saying that, but here we are saying that, yeah, there was potential for this movie, and it didn't completely fumble it though, but it just was.
So I have an old school question, because there's a 3-part rating to how you should treat a movie that's out. Go watch it in the theater, wait to get it at Blockbuster, or wait for it to come out on HBO. Like, which one is it? Do you rent it for a few bucks, or you just wait till it's like free on a streaming platform?
I'd say rent it. I'd say rent it, unless your apathy is that strong, which I get it. Some people are, and I, for the most part, am, which may be why I'm more pleasantly surprised coming out of it. That's why I'm not angry. I'm not bothered by the movie. It was fine.
It was what it was. But
yeah. I'm a go rent at Blockbuster. Get your popcorn, get your sodas, have your kids go look at what video games they want to rent, and you're like, oh hey, I guess we'll watch Thunderbolts 2 by the time we're drunk, and then boom.
Well, Camelbot Killer says, okay, new level to compare. Compared to Iron Man, this has got to be bottom of the barrel compared to Iron Man.
Well, I did actually say it. I said specifically, you're not going to look at this and think, oh, this and Iron Man and the Avengers, the first movie. You're not going to be thinking that. This is just a mid-table at best. When you go through all the really good ones and even the pretty decent ones, somewhere in the middle of the road there, you can get to like this movie. I would have to sit and think about each movie. I mean, I think that a lot of the movies that I don't like were ones that came out in the later period. Like I said, better than Captain Marvel, better than Ant-Man.
Because a lot of these crappy newer films have made some of the older, quote unquote, worst films better.
Right.
We were just talking about Iron Man 3, even as bad as it is. It's still better than
Iron Man 3 looks fantastic compared to some of these other movies.
That's what I'm getting at,
you can just go back and watch the tier list show we did on.
Yeah.
but anyhow, we're going to be counting down the non-MCU, pre-MCU, I should say, Marvel films this weekend. But that being said, we do have some other topics to get on, and Brian has to get to his supper.
Do you have to go? Because we started late, so I'm getting signaled that it's time to go.
You need a
before we've even really talked about anything.
Yeah, I was just about to get to I was trying to get to the Jeremy Renner news, but sorry, you have to run.
Well, Jeremy, just before I go on that, Jeremy Renner, they were only going to pay him half because he was only a guest star in his first show anyway.
This is true.
So why would they pay him the full price? But poor Jeremy.
He only works half time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been real. See you all later on Comics Division Thursday Night Throwdown. Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Dead Man wants to know how they treated Bucky, boys.
Actually, pretty respectfully. He actually had one of the best scenes, and there was actually a lot of people who were really happy to see Bucky in the theater, and the timing of the scene when he shows up is really well timed. It definitely pays a homage to a particular scene in Terminator 2 Judgment Day as well. And I straight up thought about that particular moment when it happened. And I looked online, and it turns out I was right. It was a homage to T2 in that particular scene. So yeah, Bucky was treated very well. He had a lot of great moments, and I was shocked that he did. I was once again very shocked. So I thought he was probably going to be the butt of some jokes, and No, it wasn't a jokey film. Like I said,
No.
aside from Red Guardian's cringe humor, it wasn't a jokes a minute type of movie. It really wasn't.
And it wasn't like all men are bad and Bucky is stupid, and there wasn't any of that.
Lena probably trashes herself more than she trashes anyone in the movie. Almost a little too much, actually.
It seemed like, you know, somebody got some kind of memo at Disney, and at least they tried their best here to be less irritating than they usually are.
Well, Camelbot Killer also sends in another 5 and says, what I meant, the bar in comparing Marvel movies are falling off a cliff into shit. My idea was to keep the level of a good, great movie like Iron Man. I mean, that's already top tier level. That's the thing, I guess. I'm not sure.
I wish every movie was like Iron Man. To date, Iron Man remains maybe my favorite MCU movie, if not top 3.
It's a damn great favorite.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely
I watched the Jensen scene recently, and I'm like, oh, I forgot how good this movie was.
Darth Gutierrez said, "Good."
He's like
suspected and masked. Yeah, that show they did that. This one they didn't.
You were saying, Mo?
Oh, I'm just saying, like the gravity of situations, like where he's like, "Hey, Jensen, we got to get you out of here to see your family." He's like, "My family's dead, Tony." And like, like there's stakes. There was actually no time travel or bringing people back. Like it just
Tony Stark built it in a cave with spare parts.
That was such a powerful scene that he's like, I'm going to see them now. This was always the plan. That's like, you know, man, that's like that would be like, you know, emotional even in a non-comic book movie, that whole scene.
Yeah. And then Aurora Uplink says, would be nice if Ahsoka Season 2 and The Mandalorian turns out good again. I would love it if the writers would learn from previous fan reaction seasons of media. Well, Disney doesn't care about Star Wars. Let's be real. I mean, did you guys notice that they pulled the Revenge of the Sith out of the theaters? And even Rob Liefeld and some others are saying that the reason they did is so it wouldn't beat or take away from
Thunderbolts. I heard about
Thunderbolts.
that. Yeah, I heard about that. You know, I don't know if it would. I could see why Rob. I don't know if Rob is saying that because he feels that way or if he got word of that. Could I see Disney doing that? Yeah. Do I believe it would hurt Thunderbolts' performance? No, not really. I
mean, they have a plan to actually have
to the Sith 20 years ago? Sure, but not now.
But I think it was only planned for this amount of time initially, but yeah.
Was there a plan to have it for more weekends? I think they only planned for this weekend.
I think so, but I think if they were smart, they should have left it open-ended, so they could have, because honestly, I do think it would have done a dent in their business.
I think it would,
for Thunderbolts. Because after the buzz of last weekend, this would have been almost as big a weekend because of that, right? Like, there was so much buzz coming off that last weekend of people going to see Revenge of the Sith and people going to see it all week because, as people knew, that it was ending this week. I think it would have hurt it. I really do. But I just wanted to bring that up, too, and that was interesting because of the member chat from Aurora Uplinks. But yeah, I mean, we could all hope and pray that Star Wars gets good again. But you know the old saying, you can wish and pray and hope in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first, right? We all know how that turns out. Speaking of Disney and their bullshit, this all segues nicely into our top story. And that is that Jeremy Renner's getting the shaft from Disney and he told them to go fuck themselves. So here's the quick version of it.
They asked
this was on a podcast, obviously.
me to do a season 2, and they offered me half the money. I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of...
Jeremy got some fucking plastic surgery done.
I had to after what happened to him.
Yeah, but I mean, not his face, really, though. Did he need to? I don't know.
I don't know if that's his face. I think it's just got injured so badly. I think he just...
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he had to. He didn't have a choice.
And they offered me half the money. I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money. And so 8 months of my time, essentially. And you do it for half the amount. I'm like, I'm sorry. Why? Because you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Maybe that's why you want to pay me half of what I made on the first season? And this is not Marvel, mind you. This is like this Disney, not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants. I told them to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer. And we didn't see eye to eye on that. And sadly, and I still love the character. I still love to do it. But I had to defend myself. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you, right? It just paid me what I made the first season. So it's a little disheartening that that didn't happen, but that's fine. I'm happy to let that go because my body's probably thanking me, time and time again that I'm not doing it right now. But we'll see. They
So yeah,
Wow.
interestingly enough, I don't know what he meant by twice the work. So I mean, was that mean they weren't going to have Haley Steinfeld or whatever come back for another season, and he was going to be the
My
main? Go ahead.
my guess is I think he probably had to do more physical work, and I don't think it was
Well, that's what
going
I
to
mean.
take
He
away
obviously
from
made it
Haley
sound like he knew it was
Steinfeld.
going to be more taxing. So like, okay, so that means twice the work you did the first time. So does that mean you're in the show more? That's what I'm getting at.
That's what
Like
I was
more
getting at. I
action
don't
and
think it
stuff.
was going
Yeah.
to take away from Haley because they were going to let go of her no matter what. But however, I think for Jeremy, he was probably going to actually be the headline character in the movie overall. And the fact that they, of course, want more work from him and they want to pay him less, that sounds so on brand for Marvel. Like, I believe every bit of that, knowing how cheap they have gotten with the writers, the directors, the cast members, what they push for nowadays. It's clear that they're trying to do pennies and scraps, and they're just hoping everyone will bend over and take it. And clearly, some don't. But yet, we'll give Robert Downey Jr., with no disrespect to him, he's not coming back as Iron Man. He's coming back as Doctor Doom. I don't think he's worth
I
that
wouldn't
type
give him
of
that
money.
much to come back as Doctor Doom. I'd give him that
Yeah.
much to maybe come back as Iron Man, but
Yeah, as Iron Man,
that's
we
what
could
I
have a
think is the
different
problem.
conversation. But as Doom, no, he ain't worth that money. That could have gone, you could have given a 1% of that to Jeremy Renner instead. But nope.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, I just to me, what to hit lowball them like that is like you underpay people you don't want to work for you, and you overcharge clients you don't want to work for. So to me, it's all right. We offered him something. If he takes it, great. If he doesn't, who cares? And I think he felt that. That's why he told him to go fly a kite. In his words, that's just what it seems like. If they got him anywhere near that, like 75%, it might have been something. But it was more of we did. So now we're
Because
done.
he's not even listed for Doomsday yet, is he? So I don't even think he's supposed to be in that, right?
I did not see his chair. No.
Yeah.
Are they going to make a season 2 with Kate Bishop, or they're just going to make a different series called Kate Bishop? Because knowing them, they'll try to still do
That's
something.
what I was kind of trying to figure out here. Because, like, yeah, I mean, unless he meant twice the work, as some people are pointing out in the chat, just to get back in shape. But I mean, he's already been, doing the physical therapy and everything like that for a while. And I think he shot another season of the Sheridan show as well. Because they even played into him being injured into the show, I guess. I haven't finished the first season yet. I know it's got like 2 seasons already, but I also heard that Sheridan was pissed because all his shit was getting cut, because all streaming stuff sounds like it's getting cut, which might be part of the reason for this, but I'm not giving Disney any fucking excuse. Pay your actor. Motherfucker's been playing this role now for over a decade. Almost 15 years, actually. So, yeah. Give him the money. Actually, more than that, right? 2012 is when the first Avengers came out, right?
I thought 2011.
Or wait, so
2012.
yeah,
You're
so
right,
no, it'll be
2011.
under 15 years, but just about. So yeah, so like, I mean, what the hell are you doing, Disney? I mean, and I actually didn't mind the Hawkeye show until the very last episode. Like, that was where it completely went off the rails for me. Because I thought What's-Her-Face was actually kind of likable, and it was like, oh, at least it's got Jeremy Renner in it. And then when the shit they did to Kingpin and stuff like that, then I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck
She
this
was
show.
better in that show than she was in the comics. I'm sorry, Price.
Yeah,
Go
that
ahead,
last
no, and
episode
then I'll go
sucked.
on.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. I was going to say that, at least the actress that plays Kate Bishop is not like awful to look at. I mean, no, I mean,
that was.
I mean, listen, these days, that's like a surprise twist that they chose an actress.
I'll
like
take a
this.
personality nowadays anymore over some of the look, because we all know we're always going to get stuck usually with whatever. So, no, I don't disagree with you on her looks, but her personality is more so what I was talking about. She was likable. And
Yeah.
she wasn't
It was a
complete
combination.
yeah.
It was a combination that I thought that she looked all right, but also her personality was likable. It used to be that would be like the minimum requirement. You want to be,
And they got the tone right with this whole thing, because like most of the time you'd have this character and she'd be like, oh, I can do so much better than any man, and keep fucking, showing up Hawkeye. but instead she actually, looked up to Hawkeye, right? She wanted to be like Hawkeye.
Right.
She actually, and that's what's like, sometimes that's all we want out of these, if Ray acted that way, I think she'd have been a lot more likable. And same thing with Luke. He could have been still a little bit of a curmudgeon, but, just this whole idea of, fuck the Jedi!
It was a bit odd that Hawkeye spent the night in her apartment.
They wouldn't get a cereal ad, that's for sure. No, I think it's kind of shitty of them. I agree with you guys. Like, this is just, I don't know how you feel about him personally. I know some people don't like him. I know some other people think he's just fine, but
I always thought he seemed like a very likable guy. And I mean, obviously I like him as an actor. He's a solid actor. I wouldn't, call him like the best of best, but he's solid. He knows how he works with to the best of his ability every time with the material he's given, better or worse. And on top of then outside of it, he seems like a very likable guy. So
that's right. He was in the first Thor movie for like 10 seconds.
I remember.
And he got injured helping somebody. That's how he got hurt. A snowcat essentially ran over his leg.
His nephew or whatever it was,
yeah, trying to help somebody stuck in the snow. So he seems like it's not the politics of people. It's how vociferous they are about it. Yeah, if you could have a great personality, I have friends that don't agree with me, and they're good people. Yeah, like politically, that's like 5% of what matters. But
I don't remember
what I can tell, he's a good guy.
Does he lecture people about politics all day?
No,
I don't think he does.
I don't think so. I think the rumor was he didn't even want to take the vax, if I remember right.
And when they all did that kind of Kamala,
if I remember,
Forever,
he is kind of a right leaner. That was another reason.
Yeah, when they did Kamala Forever, he was nowhere to be found.
I always took him as a bit of a centrist, and maybe for all I know, I'm wrong. But regardless of where he is, whenever I see him speak, whether it's Instagram, Twix, or even in interviews, he's definitely seems like a lot more like of a likable personality. I would actually say him and even Iman Vellani, who's Miss Marvel. She has a very likable personality to her as well. And it's so weird I'm saying that about Miss Marvel because her character has been not really good.
I think the best,
and yet her as a human being she's a very respectable human being. And then
she seems very pleasant. I've never had any issues with her. Even if you look back at all my tweets, videos, and whatever, I've always said from day one the same thing about her. She seems like a likable young lady. She hasn't done anything wrong, in my opinion. In any interview they interviewed her, she was very respectful and very polite. Even when they were telling her that her show sucked and her movie sucked, and she's just like, well, you'll have to go talk to Disney about that. I'm so honored that I was given the role. And you know what? When somebody says that and with such enthusiasm and sincerity, there's really not a lot to throw her under the bus. She's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, I respect that mentality out of her. It almost seems like she kind of understands more so where people like us come from. Like, hey, I played this role to the best of my ability. There's other people above me. You might want to complain to them about it, but I did the best I could. And it seems like she understands that not everyone's going to agree on how they felt about a particular movie or show. And that's just for the fans to argue on. That's kind of how it is the fans always argue about things. Even when things were good, we're still guilty of arguing it. But it was still fun and obviously a lot better natured. Yeah. But that's just what we did then. So that was, let the fans argue.
So as far as where we're going back to Jeremy Renner and Iman Vellani and people like Jenna Ortega, they're great ambassadors for cinema. They keep all their stuff a secret as best they can, and they know that the fans are the reason that they're in business, and they try their best to appease the fans, whether it's a bad movie, a great movie, or anything in between. And we need more of those kind of people where they're a mystery, and they should be. Well, their private life should be private, but they do a great job of making sure that the movie, isn't derailed by anything they say, and they put on their best face, and they thank the fans for their support. And that's what we need more of in Hollywood, and those three are really good at it.
Well, I will say that Jenna Ortega in the past has liked some tweets from Mark Ruffalo or something, or on Instagram. She's probably liked a few things that are kind of not the best, in my opinion. But at the same time, at least anytime she's interviewed or more of a conversation with her, she doesn't really bring that stuff up. I personally, for her, I think that reposting or like supporting Mark Ruffalo. Usually his takes are the dumbest in my opinion. So anybody that kind of likes and loves his post, it kind of is a red flag. But I will say she doesn't talk about anything beyond that. So I give her credit for that.
Yeah. And Jeremy Renner is like right in that area. I think you can't you get, it's like stuff like that. It's a liked post that they're not coming out there and going blah 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 blah. You know, a lot of your normies are going to miss that. But you know, when you yammer like Mark Ruffalo or even RDJ to a certain extent, it just gets annoying. But
Mark Ruffalo is the worst for me.
He's horrible.
Distance myself from that guy. Anything I would never want to be associated with him in any way.
He literally went to a clown college and he's trying to lecture people. That's my favorite part. He graduated from a clown college, a literal performing arts college, to become a clown. And he's going to lecture people on politics. Okay, Mark.
Yeah. He wants to have drinks. Never mind, I won't say it. Remember, there was a guy that he wanted to have a drink with, but I won't say any more about that. I'm just going to let it go. I don't want to get this thing flagged.
He is the price of reason.
Oh, using the Price name.
You know that I once saw him.
What? When he was making Collateral or something?
No, I was in New York City, and there's something like the Highline, whatever it's called, like something that they've built in more recent years. I mean, this has probably been there only like 10 years or something. And I was walking there, and surprisingly, he walked by with like, I think, wife and kids. And I kind of looked at the time, though. I didn't have any, very negative feelings towards him. He had just been in a few Avengers movies, and I didn't have any like especially negative sentiments towards him, even though he's not even my favorite Banner or Hulk or anything. But I just walked by. I don't know. He kind of looked at me. I looked at him, and I kept walking.
All right. Well, with that, we got super chat from Patrick Robinson. It says, was Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character supposed to be the Tulsi Gabbard-like character, or did she look like her?
She's looked
kind of
like
bugs
that
me
for a
that
while.
she looks like Tulsi. Yeah,
she's looked like. If you go back and watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier, what they shot in 2020, maybe even late 2019, maybe on that, but for sure 2020. That is just coincidence. I could see why he thought that. I don't blame you for picking up on that, but no, that's just coincidence.
I agree.
The way he acts in this is very different from Tulsi Gabbard. You really do see a very maniacal side to.
I agree.
What's her face? I'm already forgetting her name.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
As it's in front of me, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah, you see a very different attitude from her in this movie. But yeah. Don't let that be something that kind of like makes you put two and two together, because it's not there.
I don't think so either. I don't think that they were going for that, and I think that she has her own personality.
Oh yes, I agree.
All right. Well, with that, I didn't have anything else for you guys. That was pretty much the most of the news today.
You should put on some Creed, and they can find out about the news.
Am I missing the joke?
You're absolutely missing the joke. It's okay. 5 people in the chat will get it. And to those 5 people, I salute you.
Friend of the channel?
I'm missing it. What Creed song, I guess. You actually think I listen to Creed? That's the thing. Like,
I've heard enough for, yeah.
Like...
Or I'm being told the news today.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. With arms wide open. Yeah, see, Caleb Levine got it with arms wide open. He knew.
Shows you how much I like that song. Oh, and I'm supposed to check my PayPal. Ooh, that's always fun. Thank you, Kolekioki. Thank you for the $2 there. And... or did you send it to the main one? Oh, no, I got it here. Y'all hear that they started filming Avengers Doomsday without a finished script, which is normal for Marvel, but now without a finished cast, there's no way that this movie is coming out next year. Oh, yeah, I think we've all kind of came to that conclusion. But yeah, I heard that too, that they started shooting without a script.
That's so stupid. They have to stop doing that. They're just such idiots.
Hi, Sadie. Yes, Sadie wants out.
Hi, Sadie.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid. Well, thank you, Kolekioki, for that. Yes, Sadie, just a minute. She's stomping her feet and everything. You see? She's mad.
Wow, the producers on this show are picky.
Yes, she is. She's just like, it's time to end. It's time to go. So, Mo, what do you got going on?
In about 10 minutes, good doggo, thank you. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to be doing on my channel, it's called StreamYard Sucks, because it's a true statement. We're going to be trying out Rumble Studio tonight, but for the month of May, every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern or 7:30 Central, since I'm in a centrist channel here, we're going to try out viable options for large panel shows, because there's some that just don't fit the bill. So I'm going to try 5 this month, and we're going to see if anything's better than StreamYard, because they want way too much money for the crap that they've been doing lately. So
homeboy, Talk Studio on Streamlabs, specifically Talk Studio.
I'll put that one on the list. So maybe it'll go past May, but I think a good empirical study in streaming and trying it out while kicking the tires is definitely worth it, because $800+ for the top level is just insane for the amount of problems we've had lately with it. So anyways, that's what I'm doing here in about 10 minutes. But thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure talking with you guys.
Well, we're glad to have you. And then we got Nikki D sending in a $5 super chat. Says, unpopular opinion, I think Superman will reach $1 billion in the box office this summer. Thoughts? All depends on if it's any good. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if it manages that feat. What do you guys think?
I don't think it'll get over $1 billion. I think it might get close depending on word of mouth, but it's so hazy. Because there's good, there's bad, mostly bad recently, or indifferent. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't even know how many people want to watch Superman anymore. People of older vintage, I want to see it because I love Superman. He's my favorite comic book character ever. And a lot of people that grew up watching Christopher Reeve, we want to see a good Superman. Do people in their 20s or their teens want to see one? I don't know. That's the real thing. Are you going to get those younger viewers into the theater? And I just don't think it's going to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Deadman says nobody wants to talk about Andor. No, we already talked about it. It's about as much as we're going to talk about it, I think, at this point. We talked about it a little bit on the morning show. I think we talked about it on here a little bit too. Honestly, the only thing to really talk about it is the stuff that they're putting out there, and it's their fault they put it out there. And they're just doing it so people talk about the show. Because otherwise, I just don't feel like anybody's all that interested in it. So yeah, they had to put some essay in it just to get people to talk about it. I mean, really? I mean, am I wrong?
No, I don't. I'm so over it.
Yeah. Unless Price or anybody else has anything to add. Price, what do you got coming up?
Well, tonight at 10 p.m. on my live stream channel, there's Quantum Leap Revisited. And at 11:45 p.m., there's The Night Owl, also on my live stream channel with Professor R2. And again, I do this every time. I'm going to share it again. Oh, I did it. It'll take me a second. Hold on. But yeah, I'm going to share in the chat. I'm going to share the address to the live stream channel. I know people, it's difficult, nobody feels like pressing subscribe channel. But if you could do it, would be awesome.
You should subscribe to Price of Reason Live. Some say it's the best channel. I didn't say it, but I heard a certain president say it was the best channel. So you should listen to him and subscribe.
I just subscribed to Price of Reason today. Gave $5 of my money away.
I just shared the live stream channel. So if you feel like subscribing, you should do that right now. And Nick is officially joined BLM, which is Beefaroni Lives Matter.
Okay, the grift is over for 5 minutes. Just 5, though.
And then we got another super chat. Holy crap, a $10 one from Jeremiah Hembry. Because I asked Chris Gore if he makes any bad remarks towards President Trump or Elon Musk, and he said no. He also said Elon Musk is not a reference for Lex Luthor. Yeah, and it's also come out now that there's a whole nother joke about the Snyder Cut. And as I've been telling people, and I heard from one of my sources, that, it's barely in the movie. It's just a joke, a throwaway line. It might not even wind up in the final cut. And it's a jab at Snyder Bros, I guess. It's not a jab at the right or him getting canceled or anything like that. The whole big thing that everybody's saying. So, again, because again, the only thing that was kind of weird with me was the monkey thing, like the mutant monkeys. But I'm like, if that's like a step towards Gorilla Grodd, maybe perhaps, because whatever. But like otherwise, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We haven't gotten to see much of anything from the movie. That's the thing. This has been one of the most scrutinized movies in history, with very little leaks. Yet everybody has been scrutinizing it to no end. And I just want to just kind of wait and see. I mean, I don't like the idea of a super shit hashtag thing, and I know it's been confirmed that it is in one of the, or at least it was in one of the screenings. So, but we'll see how it actually turns out, if it even turns out to be in the movie. So, all right, Nick, what do you got going on? You going to be on TNT later?
I will be on TNT later. And of course, tomorrow night will be Klobby's Comic Shop as well. And that will be fun. It'll be diabolically huge. And then, of course, Toxic Tuesday next week talking Grandma's Boy. So, should be good. We'll all have our car beds ready and we'll have a slumber party talking about it. So, yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be on here. Good to talk about stuff with Price of Reason. And I hope to see some of you later tonight on TNT. Thanks for supporting Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Awesome sauce. And yeah, Mo, if you got a link for your show that you got coming up, I can link to this show to that. We can send people over if you want.
All right. Yeah. Let me do that.
That'll have to be while I'm doing the credits. With that, kids.
I just subscribed to your channel, Mo.
There you go.
Oh yay, we're subscribed to each other. We're brothers.
Ooh, I got. I don't know if am I subscribed to Mo? I got a Mo's and Mo.
I can't believe you wouldn't be.
I know, right? I'm checking just to make sure.
Did I do that right, or did I just give everybody a link to the studio?
Well, we're gonna find out.
I don't know.
There it is. That's it. No, I got it.
I got it. No, and I wasn't. I wasn't.
Okay. I'll have to grab it from the chat. All right. Where?
Okay.
Thank you.
Why am I not seeing it in the chat? Are you not a mod? Oh, that might be why.
Mod him.
Just say hi in the chat real quick.
Hi. Somebody brought it up. I can see it on the screen right now.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's still up in there, but
mod him.
It's in here because you did it on this side, but it's not showing up on the. And then D-Bud put it in there too, but I got it. We're all
okay.
We're all good. All right. Take care, kids. We'll see you on the.
Kitty. Available now for the first time ever on DVD from Midnight's Edge After Dark Productions. It's My Two Dads, the complete first season starring Mexican Iron Man Tom Connors and Culture Casino. Available now for $19.99 while supplies last.